I began collecting comic books around 1960 and continued throughout the decade. I still have most of them, and I showcase them on this channel. Now, in the 1960s, Marvel became a true competitor to DC, and seeing the relative value of DC and Marvel comics from the 1960s was surprising. Part 1 of this series looked at 1960. Stay tuned for Part 2 of this 10-part series, DC vs. Marvel, the battle of the comic book values in the 1960s.
Anachronic.
Hi comic book guys and gals, I'm Joe and welcome to the Anachronic Comics channel. Before we take a look at 1961, I have to correct the 1960s list. Although I'm a user of spreadsheets, I'm not an expert. And as I used my formula to determine the top 10, I inadvertently left out a significant comic, Green Lantern #1, which I did mention in the video. But I had a senior moment and I left it off the list. As a result, Batman 129 falls off the list and Green Lantern #1 is added at number 3 with a 9.4 and a present value of $65,167, falling behind only The Brave and the Bold #28 and Justice League of America #1. So for 1960, DC beats out Marvel with 8 comic books in the top 10 and a value of $528,058. Marvel has 2 books with a total value of $42,129. Now on to 1961, where the list provides us with an interesting historical perspective. Let's take a look at the top 10. Like 1960, the Justice League of America has the most entries, with 3. And significantly, Marvel has only 1 entry in the top 10. Number 10, Justice League of America #3 with a cover date of March 1961, which comes in with a present value of $10,340 for a grade of 9.4. The cover art is by Murphy Anderson, and the story, The Slave Ship of Space, was written by Gardner Fox, with pencils by Mike Sekowsky. This is a key comic due to the first appearance of Khan Jarrah. Number 9 is Superman Volume 1, number 147, with a cover date of August of 1961. A 9.6 has an FMV of $11,000. The cover is by Curt Swan, and the cover story, The Legion of Supervillains, was written by Superman co-creator Jerry Siegel, with pencils by Curt Swan. Now, the adult version of the Legion of Superheroes have become the Legion of Supervillains. Number 8 is Green Lantern Volume 2, number 7, with a cover date of August 1961. It has a present value of $11,132 for a 9.4. The cover pencils are by Gil Kane. The cover story, The Day 100,000 People Vanished, was written by John Broome and penciled by Gil Kane. Inking was by Murphy Anderson. At number 7, we have Showcase number 34 with a cover date of October 1961, introducing the Silver Age Atom. A 9.4 has a present day value of $14,947. The cover pencils are by Gil Kane with inks by Murphy Anderson. In the first story, Birth of the Atom, Ray Palmer, in his first appearance, is a graduate student and a research physicist who creates a shrinking device. In the cover story, Battle of the Tiny Titans, Atom reveals as an atom-sized changing belt. It's made with material from the white dwarf star. Both stories were written by Gardner Fox and drawn by Gil Kane. The inks, again, are by Murphy Anderson. Number 6 is a personal favorite of mine, Flash Volume 1, number 123, The Flash of Two Worlds, which reintroduces the Golden Age Flash, Jay Garrick, into continuity, and is the first mention of Earth 2, where the Golden Age heroes live. It has a cover date of September 1961 and an FMV of $19,500 for a 9.4. The cover was drawn by Carmine Infantino and inked by Murphy Anderson. The classic storyline was written by Gardner Fox, who is mentioned by Barry Allen's Flash within the story in an interesting twist. Carmine Infantino was the artist on the interior. Number 5 is Justice League of America number 4, with a cover date of May 1961. It comes in at a present value of $21,318 for a 9.4. The cover art is credited to Murphy Anderson, who did both the pencils and the inks. The story, Doom of the Star Diamond, was written by Gardner Fox and drawn by Mike Sekowsky. Now, this is a key issue where Green Arrow joins the Justice League. In number 4, we have Justice League of America number 2, with a cover date of January 1961. A 9.6 has an FMV of $24,000. Again, the cover is by Murphy Anderson and the story by Gardner Fox, with internal pencils by Mike Sekowsky. It is a key issue. Number 3 is the second Showcase comic book to make the list this month. Showcase number 30, with a cover date of February 1961, which comes in at a present value of $24,993 for a 9.4. The cover credits go to Dick Dillon for the pencils and Sheldon Moldoff for the inks. The 3-part story, written by Jack Miller and drawn by Ramona Fradon, has a flashback to Aquaman's birth and youth. Another key, it was the first full solo issue featuring Aquaman. Note, we haven't seen a Marvel comic book yet. Number 2 on the list of the top 10 most valuable DC and Marvel comics of 1961 is Brave and the Bold number 34, with a cover date of March 1961. A key featuring the very first appearance of the Silver Age Hawkman and Hawkgirl. It comes in at an FMV of $39,111 for a grade of 9.4. The cover artist is the legendary Joe Kubert, who also did the interior artwork. The story, like so many of the reimagining of Golden Age heroes to the Silver Age, was written by Gardner Fox. We finally get to the number 1 most valuable DC and Marvel comic of 1961. Like last month, an easy guess. Fantastic Four number 1, with a cover date of November 1961, featuring the first appearance and origin of the entire team. Written by Stan Lee, with the cover art by Jack Kirby and Dick Ayers, this monumental comic book comes in at a jaw-dropping FMV of $1,500,000 for a 9.2. As the story goes, this was to be a disgusted Stan Lee's last comic book, written the way he wanted to write comics, at the behest of his wife. Well, we all know how that turned out. So, although DC had 9 of the top 10 most valuable comic books, the DC versus Marvel battle of the comic book values for 1961 is an easy win for Marvel on the coattails of Fantastic Four number 1. The final tally? Marvel, 1 book totaling $1,500,000. DC, 9 books totaling $176,000. 1962 will see more Fantastic Four and the introduction of other classic heroes added to the Marvel list. So what will that mean? We'll see in episode 3 of DC vs. Marvel. A postscript to this list. In part 1, I mentioned some of the comic books that I owned that were part of the top 10, but I didn't show them. So for part 2, here are 5 of the top 10 that I have in my collection. At number 10, we had Justice League of America number 3, and this is one that I bought as a kid, but I got this one graded, and it came back kind of what I surprised. Sorry for the glare, doing the best I can here. It came back at a 3.0, which is kind of, typical for my comic books. The next one on the list was Showcase number 34, which came in at number 7, and that was the first appearance of the Silver Age Atom in Showcase magazine. Next one on the list was my personal favorite, and that's Flash number 123, which came in at number 6. I've shown this one before on the channel. Flash of Two Worlds. Next one on the list is number 5, which is Justice League of America number 4, which I have. This one's kind of in rough shape as well. Probably like a 2 or something like that. Maybe a 3 if I'm lucky, but I think more likely a 2. And the fifth and last one that I have was actually one that I sent in to be graded, and I was like amazed at what it came back at. I knew it was in decent shape, but it's Justice League of America number 2, which is the number 4 on our top 10 list. Here's my copy, and it's actually a 7.0. So if you're interested in seeing some of my Silver Age comics, ones that I have in my collection, and that I bought as a kid, click here for the series. And click here to see part 1 of this DC versus Marvel series. Thanks for watching. Now how about a thumbs up, guys? Be well, and I'll see you soon.